Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm so excited for the upcoming NFL season. Hope your day is a good one. I am the sports judge. Here's my early NFC predictions. Let's start with the NFC East. Let's get right into it. I look at the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, and I automatically eliminate the Commanders and the Giants. The future is surely looking bright in Washington. New coach, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new owner. And with enormous young talent, they're about, I'll say, a year or so away. Washington has slightly moved the needle a bit. So if you're Washington now, I have to think you have that energy and juice, new faces, new vibe, fresh start. But right now, I think the Washington football team is still not good enough to reach the playoffs. But the Eagles, they're winning the division. I can promise you that. It's a prove it season for them. The team behind them are obviously the Dallas Cowboys. Probably won't win anything. We'll see how it goes, but they're no doubt behind the Philadelphia Eagles. But there's a possibility that they, could miss the playoffs. I think it's time that we just, see the Giants for what it is. I just think at the end of the day, they have to prioritize the quarterback position for the foreseeable future to give themselves a legitimate shot. They're a million miles behind everybody else in this division. The Giants are. There's always that one team that's a bottom feeder, and that's the Giants. It's like, hey, I just can't trust who, Daniel Jones, to lead that offense. Obviously, I say this all the time. The Giants are stuck in quarterback purgatory. That's never fun for any team because, as we know, the quarterback position is the most important position in a pass-driven league. So, by the process of elimination, I have crossed out the Giants and Washington, and I think it's a two-team race for sure. The Eagles are there to be had for sure, and the Cowboys are right there behind them. I say the Eagles win that division. I love Jalen Hurts. You guys hear me talk about Jalen Hurts all the time. And I also think Philadelphia is not going to lose the division to Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I just can't see that happening. I know what happened last season. It was a heartbreaking ending to their season. And we know this. And we know Philadelphia easily has the best roster in the division. Nick Sirianni hired better assistants. I'm not a Kellen Moore guy, but with him, the new offensive coordinator, he's clearly an upgrade from Brian Johnson. I don't think anybody would deny that based on what we've seen last season. It was a disaster last season. This team was a disaster area. Remember, they started 10-1 and then they fell off a cliff. They ended the season a broken team. I'm convinced they resolved the issues which saw them collapse. And so, coming off a season of disappointment, I think they bounce back. Maybe not a Super Bowl team, but they're good enough to sniff the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think they're top heavy and overly reliant on obviously Dak Prescott and CD to carry the entire offense. And I've never really seen Dak carry the offense. And I like Dak Prescott, but he doesn't have the ability to take average parts and elevate them. The Giants are just not good enough at the quarterback position. I have them fourth. Now let's go to the NFC West. We're going coast to coast. I have the 49ers finishing first, obviously. They're really there's really only one thing going on with the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk is becoming a bit of a distraction for the 49ers, the whole contract dispute. I don't care anymore, okay, damn it? I don't care. This entire thing with Ayuk has dragged out for so long. Just trade him if you're going to trade him and be done with it. Goodness. There were rumors about him getting traded during the draft, the offseason, and it's just dragged on and on and on and on. When does it stop? So Brandon Ayuk, stay in San Francisco or please go to Pittsburgh. I don't care. The offseason for the 49ers was pretty interesting. The Brandon Ayuk noise, they lost Armstead in free agency. They beefed up the defensive line and their secondary, getting some more pieces. The defensive line and secondary construction has been absolutely fascinating to watch. I would like to see the 49ers get a deal done for Trent Williams. I think that's a big priority for them. They got to get a deal done for him. Trent is the rock of that offense. He's the foundation. Purdy struggled when his star left tackle was out. And the injury to Trent Williams last season was a big part of Purdy's fall. The Niners are good, but they've got a lot of older bodies. They're expensive. I do think the 49ers have high injury risk potential. They are getting older, and we know a bevy of their weapons have already been banged up. I'm picking the 49ers because they have playmakers across the board. The division is looking more and more like it's anybody's guess what can actually happen because you got the Rams in that division. This Niners team is good, but so are the Rams. I was down on the Rams last season, and look, I'm a Rams fan. I just didn't believe in their O-line. I thought the secondary was suspect. I never thought a guy named Puka Nacua would come out of nowhere to have the kind of rookie season he had. So I think everybody learned a lesson not to let the Rams fool them. You know, you're going to pick the Rams this year. I think most people are. I think the Rams are going to be terrific this year. Elite quarterback, a head coach who knows what he's doing, studs at skilled positions. The defense has guys that can play. At least 11 wins. Never sleep on the Rams. They're winning at least 11 games. I know a lot of people are sleeping on Los Angeles. I think they'll push for a wild card spot and make the playoffs. Keep an eye out for the Rams. I don't think they win the division. Not here, not now, not over the 49ers. That's not happening. I think there's a decent chance, though, the Rams make a deep run if Stafford, the receivers, the running backs, and the offensive line are all reasonably healthy. They're one of the most talented teams in the NFC, top to bottom. Loaded offensive line, changes on defense, got younger overnight. They always get their personnel decisions right. Finishing third in the NFC West are the Seattle Seahawks. Look, they finished 9-8 last season. Ryan Grubb's system suits Geno Smith, who, by the way, is good enough to win you games. They have a new staff, new coach. But here's the thing. I'm going to take Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay over the rookie coach in Seattle. And lastly, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, look, I love Kyler Murray. I just don't think Arizona roster right now can compete with the rest of the teams above them. The worst division in football to me is the NFC South. I think the Atlanta Falcons will run away with that division. I think they run over everybody in that division. Arthur Smith is gone. Kyle Pitts could have a highly productive year. Justin Simmons is now a Falcon. They have an edge rusher. Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. The Bucs are good and capable with Baker Mayfield. He showed us what he can do with that offense last season. But, Tampa Bay is not as good as Atlanta. The Panthers are going to be fun to watch. I really don't think the Panthers will be the worst in the NFC South this year. They're going to be much improved offensively with Dave Canellis as their head coach. Still a very young roster in Carolina with a long ways to go as far as being a true competitor goes, projection 7-10 on the season. Saints are stuck in cap hell. I don't like New Orleans situation at all. Not good enough to make a deep playoff run. It's an old aging roster that's too expensive to move. You're banking on a 42-year-old quarterback, Taysom Hill, to be the staple of your offense. The Saints are a mess. They're a complete mess. They're going to be bad for so long. Them fans might as well just get ready for it. Very old, expiring team, cap issues. They don't draft very well. Awful head coach. I think the Falcons will run this division. Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix will stabilize the quarterback position. Second best offensive line in football. It's hard not to be a playoff team when you have that good of an offensive line. Now the Lions, NFC North. I've been very consistent about the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to win. This is a team that's capable of reaching the Super Bowl. I'm just telling you, this Lions team is legit. I think they reached the NFC Championship game again. This might be the season where they blow the doors off the NFC North. Or it might be close with the Green Bay Packers there. I don't know. But I'm telling you that the Lions are going to go further than they did last year. The Lions and the Packers, I think what it will come down to is quarterback play. The Lions do have a better roster, but the Packers, if Jordan Love proves to legitimately be like a top 5 quarterback and play as well as he did last season, it was kind of a breakout year for him. If he can duplicate that and truly proves to be the next big quarterback that everyone goes absolutely bananas over, then I think that could be the difference maker. I do think it's a tight race between the Packers and Lions, and I kind of said that the Lions would blow off the door. I think I changed my mind on that. I think it's going to be closer. It's neck to neck. The Cinderella story days are gone. This is so foreign for the Lions, but with this current roster and coming within one win of reaching the Super Bowl, expectations remain high. It's definitely something to build off of. I'm expecting a big leap this season. You can make a legit argument that the Detroit Lions have the best top to bottom roster in the NFL. Dan Campbell has done a wonderful job building a winning culture. It would be shocking if the Lions don't make the playoffs. It was impressive by the numbers for Jared Goff last season. His consistency has raised. He just continues to get better. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Porter are studs. I think the biggest concern for the Detroit Lions is their secondary. Obviously, Detroit's front 7 looks strong, but the secondary, as you might recall, gave up a ton of pass yards last season. I still like the Lions to win that division. I'm really low on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm really low on them. There's been a change at quarterback when the news broke that J.J. McCarthy suffered a season-ending injury during preseason. That means Sam Darnold is starting week 1 and likely playing the entire season. I think when you go from Cousins to Darnold, it is a pretty massive drop-off, especially when you consider how sharp McCarthy looked in his first preseason action. Even without stability at quarterback, there's still a lot on offense with Justin Jefferson, clearly a top 5 wide receiver, and Jordan Addison. So you got weapons. Jordan Addison, my boy from USC. Fight on, baby. Let's go. They have a lot of weapons. And then you have another year of Brian Flores' defense, which they could benefit from. But they made a lot of changes on that side of the ball as well. And even on offense, I think they're going to have to run the ball more efficiently with Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler to win. If the Packers and Bears take the expected steps needed to put together a winning season, then I think it's going to be really, really tough for the Vikings. The annual hype surrounding the Chicago Bears. Oh, here we go again. the Chicago Bears, the talk of Chicago. Don't you just love it? I feel like something is still missing. Caleb Williams to me is overhyped, and I just see something that other people don't. Maybe because I watched a lot of USC games, being a USC fan living here in Los Angeles, I've seen a lot. Inefficient, a large chunk of incompletions, a guy who can't really read the defense. I'm not sure if he can play within the structure of an offense. I don't know. There's not much on him to really say. But the Bears as a whole have surrounded him with weapons, adding Keenan Allen in a trade. They go out and draft Rome Odunze. DeAndre Swift was a sneaky free agency signing, and they still have DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. The offensive line is probably the best Chicago's had in a few years. There's a possibility that we could be looking at a sleeper playoff team. So it depends on who you ask, but my NFC playoff teams are the Eagles, Niners, Falcons, Lions, and Cowboys, Packers are wildcard teams. Those are my NFC predictions for the season. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. I'm checking out of here now. Love y'all. Hit that subscribe button and show me some love. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.